Hey everyone, Yoda from Team Evil Geniuses here, and in this section we'll be talking about Tremble's early game laning presence. In this next clip we show Tremble's extremely strong laning power. Due to some early harassment, he had to back into his mound to use a health potion, which is one of the things Tremble's great at, with using a health potion while still in EXP range, since he can stay hidden in his mound. After doing that, Tremble goes for an easy kill on Forsaken Archer. Because he has Dark Swarm, which is an extremely powerful nuke, she is forced to run away from him, but also because of his passive, she can't run away. So these two extremely strong factors combined make Tremble an extremely strong laning force. Sometimes you don't even have to skill Dark Swarm, which many players choose not to do, and just level up your passive, which is enough to make short work of any heroes that venture too far out from their tower. Obviously you usually can't chase them past their tower, but if you can force them to not be able to run all the way to their tower, then oftentimes it'll be an easy kill. In this next clip we show Tremble's prowess as a 1v2 laner. Oftentimes your team will pick a jungler, and Tremble is decent at laning 1v2. So one of the key things to notice here is that the mound is extremely close to the tower. That way it's easy to defend. Since there's two enemy heroes that could possibly be attacking it, you often won't be able to fend them off yourself. You'll need the help of your tower. So that's why you put it close to the tower. And also, if you have an allied jungler, your jungler should be running ganks for you. Tremble is really easy to gank for because he can run really fast with his mount, and also his passive slow contributes a lot to the fight. Here, using Tempest Thunderblast as well as Tremble's slow and increased move speed from mounts, we're able to easily take out Vindicator and chase away Valkyrie, securing the lane for Tremble's free farm in the later phases of the lane. In this next clip, Tremble takes advantage of the enemy sphere of Tempest ganks, and is able to chase a level 5 Valkyrie and a level 3 Vindicator, while only being level 5 himself, all the way back to their own tower. Another contributing factor to this is Tremble's extremely strong lifesteal and slow from his passive, which forces enemy heroes to usually run away, and also be very slow when they're running away. Make sure you take advantage of Tremble's extremely strong laning presence in your own games.
Hey guys, bdiz here, and I will be assisting Yoda in explaining some of the intricacies of playing the hero Tremble. In this portion of the video, I'll be explaining why Tremble is an effective ganker, starting with the following clip. Tremble initiates the gank by sending his pet Shudder in and using its ensnare and voodoo gesture to take him out quickly, due to voodoo's poor positioning. As he sees that the opposing chipper shows up to gank as well, he teleports his hero to the mound that had already been placed and joins in the fray. While teleporting, he micros his pet to continue attacking the chipper, applying both the armor and movement speed reductions to assist his teammates in taking him out, as he is an extremely important hero to take out quickly due to his damage potential. Once he actually arrives himself, he immediately focuses down the enemy team's carry, who is another high priority target. Since Shudder was nuked out by Hag's AoE, he summons up a new one, knowing that the ensnare will be needed to attempt to take him out, and switched to Witch Slayer after failing to finish off wretched Hag instead of chasing him. After the fight was over, Tremble sends his hero back to middle lane to continue farming, while keeping his pet around to assist in case the enemy team decided to engage again. When Voodoo initiates, Shudder comes running back, immediately focusing down Chipper, using his snare after Puppet Show fades off. Afterwards, he's able to catch up to Flint Beastwood and combine with his teammate's support, take him out again as well, giving his team a significant early game advantage as they head into the mid-game stages. In the next clip from a different game, Tremble teleports to a pre-existing mound to set up a counter gank when the Legion team goes for his Valkyrie. Instead, he finds Wretched Hag and is able to combo and snare with his Hellflower to set up a 5-second arrow and an easy pickoff for their team. As the enemy team ports in looking for a counter kill, he uses his pet to drop a mound, so if the stuns wear off, he's able to chase down the opposing team's heroes and assist with some more kills. Which just goes to show how powerful mounts can make Tremble as a ganker, as you truly never know which one he'll be at.
Yoda here again, and I will be discussing Tremble's role in teamfights and also a cool trick you can do with your mounds in the late game. In this next fight, Tralfamador shows us how to play in the mid to late game with Tremble in teamfights. So after his allied Balfagor gets initiated on, he smartly waits in the back, waiting for the enemy to blow their follow-up spells, such as Myrmidon Wheatfield and Thunderbringer's entire spell barrage, onto the Balfagor. After those spells are used, he hits the closest target, Kraken. One thing that's important with Tremble is that while you would much rather hit the squishy targets, he's a melee hero, so oftentimes you'll just have to hit whoever's closest, in this case the Kraken. At the beginning of fights, you always have to do that, and at the end of fights, however, you can actually pick your targets and Obviously you want to pick off those supports who are very squishy but can often stun you and make things very hard for you. So remember, early on in the fight, focus on the tank heroes or whoever's close to you, and later on in the fight, when you're cleaning up, you want to use your slow to chase down the squishy support heroes, as Tremble shows us in this clip. Here, Tremble shows us another extremely important facet of Tremble's late game play. Due to his ability to teleport in between his mounds, Tremble is an extremely strong backdoor, in addition to the minus armor to buildings that he gets from his pet. So after noticing a teamfight breaking out, Tremble immediately teleports to the top lane to put a lot of pressure on those towers, taking out the tower before enemy heroes are able to respond, and also activating his Shrunken and using some clever mound micro to take out the barracks under the nose of 3 enemy heroes.
Hey guys, it's bdiz again, and in this section I'll be going over Tremble's pet control, which includes both maximizing your farm and ganking. Farming with your pet is a very crucial aspect of playing Tremble. Being able to farm up lanes that are in otherwise dangerous positions or being able to farm certain creep cans in your opponent's jungle will help you to accelerate your farm and either catch up or put your team further ahead. In this game, Tremble's team was losing the early game, he was too afraid to farm an already pushed up lane with his hero, so he used his pet Shudder to farm the lane while using his hero to farm some creeps in his own jungle. As you can see, he's just last hitting the creeps with his pet, which is pretty just typical last hitting. And as the lane pushes up into the tower, he, instead of putting his pet into a dangerous position, knowing that a hero will TP up there soon to farm, he sends his pet into the jungle to take out some creeps there. As the big camp respawns, he notices that it's Catmen, which the pet's unable to kill, and he instead decides to go to the next camp over, which is Wild Hunters, which he can kill, and he rotates his auto attacks back and forth on the Wild Hunters to gain the life leech and bonus damage. Also, while this entire sequence was going on, Tremble used his own hero to farm his jungle, which maximized his farm. In this clip, Tremble notices that a gank is brewing in bottom lane. He also knows that the mid tower is low on HP, so instead of porting both his hero and Shudder, he sends just the pet while pushing middle tower with his hero. On Shudder's arrival, he attempts to kill Wretched Hag by using his ensnare ability on him, and follows it up with a bit of miss micro, as he is pushing down middle lane after Wretched Hag blinks away. When he notices that a low HP Witch Slayer is running by, he drops a mound with his pet to avoid getting creep blocked further, and begins to auto attack Witch Slayer, and eventually does catch up to him and take him out, using another ensnare from his pet. Then he also notices that there's a low HP Voodoo Jester around who's fighting his Bubbles, and he's able to take out Voodoo Jester with the assistance of Bubbles and a couple of auto attacks from his pet. He also picked up a hat trick there because Wretched Hag died to some creeps.
Yoda here again, and this next section will discuss Tremble's pushing prowess. In this clip, Tremble and Warbeast team up to take down a tower. So while both of them are two-man pushing the tower, 3 enemy heroes actually teleport. However, taking advantage of Tremble's synergy with Puzzlebox due to the snare from his ultimate and also the passive slow, Tremble and Warbeast are able to take out all 3 heroes and then also be able to take out the base tower. They probably could have taken the barracks as well, but they had some qualms about backdooring, so they actually just backed off.
Waste of time. Too easy.
In this next clip, we show Tremble's raw pushing potential with Puzzlebox. Due to little to no enemy resistance due to their middle fight, I decided it's a good time to just push the tower by myself. Since his pet gives towers minus armor and other buildings as well, Tremble's pushing power with Puzzlebox is extremely strong. So in this clip, I actually managed to take out the tower and half of a barracks before enemy heroes show up, and even after they show up, I can still do damage. The key concept applied here is that since Puzzlebox can only attack when your hero's in a certain range, basically you just have to hide in your mound when the enemy heroes show up so they can't kill you, and also your Puzzlebox can still be attacking the barracks. This allows you to get in a lot of great base damage while you're hiding from enemy heroes. You can actually build Tremble a couple different ways. Many people like to max Dark Swarm first because of its ability to quickly clear creeps and also deal burst damage to enemy heroes. However, I find that your laning presence is actually much more powerful by maxing your passive first, so that's what I like to do. I would get 1 point in mounds at level 1, so you can plant some at the beginning of the game, like before the creeps spawn, and after that I would just max my passive over mounds, getting my ultimate whenever I can, and also picking up Dark Swarm at levels 10 and then 12 through 14, basically after you can't skill anymore into passive and mounds.
Hey guys, it's bdiz again, and for this section of the video I'll be going over mound placements. Mounds are placed once you skill up your Terraform ability, which you'll be taking at level 1. With rank 1 of the ability, you're able to place 3 mounds across the map. Most players tend to place their first mound in the fountain, which I feel is a mistake. I prefer to have my first 3 mounds in more aggressive positions, so with room control and a bottle you will rarely be forced to fountain on Tremble. I place my first mound near the outpost in my easy lane, as that lane is easiest to gank due to your teammates being able to make use of creep pulls to keep your opponents in a vulnerable position. As you can see while I'm running up here to place the mound, I run into a spot and place it where the opponents will have no vision of it, that way they don't even expect the gank to be coming as fast as it does once I level 6. At level 6, I'll typically send up my pet to the top lane while continuing to farm on my hero in middle lane, as your pet is usually enough in combination with your teammates' abilities to bring down enemies. However, if you've got a hard carry that's generally useless early games such as Sandwraith, you may need to consider porting both your pet and hero up there. Also, as you can see, I'm heading back to middle lane, and I will be making it there in time to block my creep wave, and my mound will also be off of cooldown so I can place it in middle lane as the creeps get there. With Legion, similar to playing on Hellborn, I'll place my first mound at our easy lane in a position that will be unlikely to be scouted by our opponents, which will enable me to gank the lane once I'm level 6. I'll also still be making it in time to middle lane to place my mound before the creeps clash. Tremble in the mid to late game phases of the game, you'll want to place your mounds similarly to how your wards are placed, which is determined by how well your team is doing. If you're winning, as seen here, you'll have aggressive mounds placed on the opponent's side of the map. In this game, Tremble decided to lock down both middle and top lanes with his mounds, while his team focused on pushing those 2 towers and they had ward vision to back them up, which allowed Tremble to play aggressively in the area and kill anyone that went for his mounds alone. Another important thing to note is that Tremble does have a mound on the fountain still, which is used to teleport for regeneration purposes, and it is important to have a mound in your fountain regardless of if you're playing aggressively or defensively, because you never know when you'll need to TP there to avoid a gank. If you're playing Tremble in a 2 versus 1 lane, you definitely do want to place your first mound in the fountain, so you'll be forced to regenerate there at some point. Your second mound, however, will be placed close to your tower, ideally in a position that it won't be attacked by your opponents. Thanks for watching this Nerdstomper presentation of Tremble, the new HON hero. For more content like this and more, please check out nerdstomper.com, #1 source for World of Warcraft, StarCraft 2, and Heroes of Newer Construction.